part and network part. So we are going to check whether we are in home network or we are in, we can say, foreign network. TCP is having three types: indirect TCP, snooping TCP, and mobile TCP. And then we will see the difference between this all. Okay, first we will do the revision of TCP. We can say transmission control protocol. We are having this TCP/IP model, which is having application layer, transport layer, internet layer, data link layer, and physical layer. In every layer, there are some protocols, and all the protocols are having their own functionality. Application layer, in which user can directly interact with that particular software or that particular application, which is having layer like dynamic host configuration protocol, DNS protocol, file transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. So these are the protocol. When you are entering or opening any, we can say, website, then you are typing HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. So it will allow us to interact with that particular application. And the transport layer is having protocol TCP, UDP, DCCP, and SCTP. We will see this protocol TCP, which is connection oriented, and the UDP, which is connection lays, which is we can say they are responsible for the guaranteed delivery of our packets, whatever data we are sending, which will be in form of packet. Then we are having internet layer, which is having IP protocol, IGMP, ICMP. Data link layer is having various protocol, which is working with the frame. Our data is divided into the frame. And the last is, we can say, physical layer protocol. So this all you have already learned during your network subject. In lower subject, you have already learned the features of each layer of TCP/IP model and which are the protocol associated with each layer of, we can say, TCP/IP model. So this is the one of the core protocol of, we can say, internet protocol suite, often simply referred as a TCP/IP. TCP is a reliable, guarantees in-order delivery of the data and incorporates the congestion control and the flow control mechanism. TCP supports many of the internet's most popular application protocol and resulting application, including World Wide Web, email, file transfer, secure cell. In the Internet Protocol suite, TCP is the intermediate layer between the Internet layer and the application layer. The major responsibility of TCP in an active session are to provide the reliable in-order transmission of a data, not to allow loss of data, congestion control in network, not to allow degradation of the network performance, control a packet flow between the transmitter and the receiver. Packet transmission will not be going to exceed. So what is the responsibility? First, it will provide a reliable in-order transportation of our data. So it will not allow any kind of loss of data. I cannot, suppose I'm sending one movie or some music or some photos. So it will not allow me to, in between some of the packet are going to loss. So that particular message will not we can say reach properly. If I'm sending some SMS to you, some text to you, so there should be, we can say, reliable delivery to reach that particular message or that particular mail with the data, whatever I'm attaching with it properly. The second thing is, the congestion should not be there. There are so many packets are coming, and then we are not able to, that particular receiver will not able to receive that packet, and there are traffic will going to increase in network, and which is going to degrade the performance of network. Our internet will down slow. So this kind of thing will not going to happen. This is the responsibility of TCP. The next is control of packet flow. Yes, transmitter is transmitting, but receiver is not able to receive in that particular speed. So it is TCP's responsibility to control such kind of exceed or the overflow of the packets and to control the speed of this packet delivery. TCP is a connection-oriented protocol. It means you have to establish the connection between the sender and receiver. It is point-to-point protocol, one sender and one receiver in process. Send and receives in buffer. You can see here, there is a, we can say, a sending buffer and the receiving buffer, and through which you are sending your data, your segment, or we can say packet. So there is a, we can say, responsibility of TCP is to flow control. It cannot flood the receiver's buffer. by sending too many packets. It has to look after or take care of the size of that particular packet of, we can say, receiver side also. It cannot send packet so many packets and pull the buffer of that particular receiver. So these are the responsibility of, we can say, TCP. But this is all about the wired TCP. Wired network is with our PC is at particular place and we are having internet. We are using at that particular place the internet, right? So this is designed for, actually we can say, fixed or wired network, and just we can say it is reliable. Order delivery is possible through that particular TCP because it uses the sequence number, acknowledgement, timeout, retransmission, end-to-end semantics. It provides the sliding window based buffers and feedback from receiver and network to adjust the transmission rate. But now what is the problem? We are using wireless network because I'm using mobile, and through the mobile I'm sending the data, I'm sending email, I'm sending messages, I'm sending images. So I can say that now my network is not fixed, my device is not fixed. I'm using mobile devices, I'm moving anywhere in India, and from that particular place I want to send my data. So I need a mobile TCP which allows me to move everywhere and to use internet and to send my data. So what I can say, that fixed host, or we can say your computer is connected with the wired network. That wired network is going to connect it with the base station, the gateway access point, or we can say foreign agent. We have gone through this base station when we were learn the GSM architecture, right? So you through base station, through that particular tower we are connected, and from the base station our mobile host is going to connect. So up to base station it is, we can say, wired, and then we become the wireless. So here you can see we are having mobile host which was movable, then we are having base station. Other name of base station are foreign agent and access point. And fixed host means wired internet connection up to that particular access point, and from that base station or access point we are wireless. So this is the way how our mobile is, we can say, connected through the internet. Okay. So TCP, how it will work in, we can say, wireless network. TCP assumes congestion if the packet drop. Typically, it is going to wrong in wireless network. Often packet loss due to the transmission error. Mobility itself can causes the packet loss. Nodes roam from one access point to foreign agent to other with the packet in transmit. So what is the problem here? If the packet is not going to receive, so in that case, we can say congestion will be there if there are more than one packets, or there are overflow of packets. This is, we can say, typically right whenever we are having wired network, but the same TCP we cannot apply with the wireless network because there are so many issues with the wireless network. The first thing is due to transmission error, due to speed of internet, due to a movable device, there are possibility of having packet loss. So you cannot say that the same TCP we are applying for the wired, that same TCP will going to help us in finding out the congestion and everything. So we need a mobile TCP. So TCP cannot be reached fundamentally due to large installed base in the fixed network. What are the challenges? How to improve the TCP performance in wireless network? Maintain the congestion control and behavior and efficient retransmission. So we need a particular software for making it mobile TCP. We can use it with the wireless network also. It is going to maintain the congestion control. It is going to provide us efficient transmission. So what exactly indirect TCP is doing? It is splitting our connection. End-to-end TCP connection is broken into one connection, and that part is, we can say, wired part of our router, and the other part is a wireless part of the router. So here you can see that this is the base station. Okay. So from base station, our we are having, this is the, we can say, fixed network or wired part, right? Here we are having mobile station. This is our wireless part. So from this base station to mobile station, we are having wireless, and this is our wired part. So what indirect TCP is doing, it is separating out two parts, wired and wireless. Now how it is going to work, how it is sending the packets, you can see. So whenever any request come for forwarding the packet to that particular, we can say, fixed network. So from that wireless network, what our mobile device will do, it will send this to that foreign agent, or we can say base station, and base station will send the acknowledgement, and that part is completed from that particular, we can say, base station or foreign network. Now what foreign network is doing, that foreign network is sending part to that particular our wired network and get the acknowledge from the wired network, right? So this both part are not communicating directly with each other. For a communication we need that particular foreign agent, or we can say base station. The way to communicate between the foreign agent and the mobile network and the foreign network, wired and wireless part, it has separated. So whenever packet received from the wired part, the acknowledge can be sent by the foreign agent, and whenever packet received from the wireless part, again the acknowledgement can be sent by the particular foreign agent. So foreign agent is the intermediate between this, and it is going to separate out, right? The packet cannot be directly go from this to this, or packet cannot be go from we can say here to directly acknowledge. No, it is not like that. Both are separated. So this example shows a mobile host connected via a wireless link to an access point. Also, access node is connected to the internet via wired network. Standard TCP is used to connect the access point from fixed computer. No computer over the internet recognizes any changes to the TCP. The access point acts as a proxy of the mobile host and terminate to the TCP connection. Therefore, the fixed computer now sees the access point as a mobile host, and the other hand, mobile host sees the access point as a fixed computer. In between the access point and the mobile host, a special TCP adapted to wireless link is used. Changes in a TCP does not need, even as unchanged TCP produces the same round trip time. Such segmentation method can be used in connection between mobile node and corresponding host when host is at the foreign agent. So during handover, the control transfer from one foreign agent to another foreign agent in nearby cell. Now, how it is going to happen, you can see here. There is a data I want to transfer, right? From the fixed network to the data is going to transfer to the foreign agent, or we can say base station, right? My mobile node is right now here. Suppose this place is Ahmedabad. I am at Ahmedabad, and this is my foreign location, I can say, and the packet is going to transfer to that particular foreign agent in Ahmedabad. But suddenly I have changed my location. So what is going to happen? They have to send to that particular packet to new base station. Now my new base station is suppose Baroda. I'm not at evening time. I'm not at Baroda. So what my old base station is doing, it is sending my packet to old, we can say, foreign agent, but my location is changed, so that particular old foreign agent has to send data to the new base station, right? So from this particular network, we can say fixed network, it is going to send to the foreign network, but I am not here right now in this network. I have changed my network, so my base station will be a different base station. So whenever packet is going to deliver to me, that particular packet is initially sent to that particular old base station, and both old base station will send that packet to the new base station or new foreign network, and from that particular foreign network I'm going to receive my packet. So here the corresponding node, sender does not notice wireless link or segmentation of the connection. The foreign agent becomes or act as a proxy and relays data in both the direction. When corresponding node sends data, foreign agent sends back acknowledgement to it. When the mobile host receives a packet from the foreign agent, the mobile host also sends back acknowledgement. This acknowledgement is a local acknowledgement. It will not be forwarded to an corresponding node. If the packet is lost in wire transmission, no acknowledgement received, then foreign agent will try to retransmit it again. I told you that this both will consider as a different network, right? Wired and wireless. So they are not directly communicating with each other. The packet is sent first to that particular foreign agent or base station, and base station will send the acknowledgement, right? So if there is some problem occur and the packet lost here, then there is the, we can say, responsibility of now foreign agent to deliver that particular thing. Now, what is the advantages here? It does not require any changes in TCP protocol as used by different hosts in a network. Because of a strict partition between two connections, transmission error on wireless link will not be propagated to wire link. Therefore, the flow will always be in a sequence. So if there are some problem occurs in wired network, it is not going to propagate it to wireless network because both are different. The delay between foreign agent and the mobile host is a small, and if optimized properly, precise timeout can be used to carry out the retransmission of lost packet. So we can see that there is a delay between the foreign agent and mobile host is small and optimized properly. So you can retransmit the lost packet. Different solution can be implemented and tested between the foreign agent and mobile host. Without, we can say, stability of the internet, there are two partitions. We can use different transport layer protocol in the second half with the foreign agent acting as a translator. Now everything is having a disadvantage also. Here in indirect TCP, we are having some disadvantages. The first one is end-to-end connection for which TCP has been designed will fail if the foreign agent crashes. I told you there is no, we can say, direct connection. Everything can be done by the foreign agent. And if there is some problem occurs and foreign agent crash, so you will going to lose your packet. The foreign agent must be trusted entity as the TCP connection end at this point. In practical terms, increased handover, maybe latency, maybe touch more problematic during handover from old foreign agent to new foreign agent. Some delay will occur during this period. Some extra data will become at the old foreign agent. This data also need to be set. So practically, if we can talk that we are moving with the mobile device from one place to another. Suppose I'm using my mobile in car and I'm going from Ahmedabad to Baroda, right? And I'm sending or I'm using internet, I'm sending mail or packets. So what I can say that if I'm sending my packet from my home network and the foreign network, right? If I'm at Ahmedabad location, then my foreign network or base station I'm using it is of Ahmedabad. But now suppose I am at the we can say Baroda location. My foreign location is Baroda, and I'm using the base station or the tower of that particular Baroda network, right? So whenever anybody wants to send me data or any packet, it first reaches to my Ahmedabad foreign agent, and that particular foreign agent will again traverse that data to Baroda foreign agent because my new location is Baroda. So there is, we can say, handover is increased. End-to-end semantics is violated. We can say that there is no direct connection. That's why acknowledgement may be sent first to that particular base station. So we can say it may be delivered to sender before data delivered to the receiver, right? Actually, data is not delivered to the receiver because in between foreign agent is working. Foreign agent is collecting your packet and sending acknowledgement to you guys directly, right? Without consulting to the receiver side. So I can say that before delivering data to the receiver, it will give you a acknowledgement, which is not a good thing. Sometimes something will happen. We can say our foreign agent will going to crash or some other network issue will occur. The receiver has actually not received data, but you are having acknowledgement. Sender is having acknowledgement that data is received. So this is one problem we can say. Base station retains hard state buffer space required at base station on per the TCP connection basis. Base station failure can result in permanent loss of data. Unreliability, handoff is also going to increase. So base station is keeping everything. Base station, or we can say foreign agent, is taking packet and giving the acknowledgement. So there is a failure. It will going to lead to permanent loss of your data. Now next type of TCP is snooping TCP. What snooping TCP is doing? In indirect TCP, we are having splitting connection. But what it will do, it will going to improve our split connection. and end-to-end semantics is retained. Soft state as base station instead of hard state. It retains the local recovery of split connection approach and uses the link level transmission. Snooping means what? To store something, to buffer something. So here foreign agent will going to snoop everything. Whatever packet this mobile station is sending to this particular, we can say, corresponding node, in between foreign agent will going to snoop that packet. It means it is going to we can say store all the packets, right? In what we were doing in indirect TCP, there is no transmission directly, right? But here we are having direct transmission. We can say end-to-end transmission, and in between a foreign agent which is going to store all the packets. So whenever any loss will occur, that foreign agent is having stored data, buffer data. So later on that buffer data will going to send to that particular receiver, right? And there is no, we can say, problem occurs if foreign agent will going to lost, because data is already delivered directly from sender to receiver. Foreign agent is only just storing that particular data as a buffer. Here we are having end-to-end delivery. You can see here this packet is going to directly deliver to the mobile network. From the corresponding node, it is going to send to the mobile node, right? And acknowledgement will also going to send to that particular mobile node. What foreign agent is going to do? It is going to, in between, it is going to buffer the data, snoop the data. So if there is packet loss occur here, this packet is not reached to this our mobile node, but we know that foreign agent know that timeout is there, packet is not received, there is no acknowledgement received. So what it will do, it will have that data, it has stored that data, buffered that data. So that packet is going to send to that particular mobile network by the foreign agent, and then foreign agent will send the mobile node will send the acknowledgement. In between acknowledgement will also going to store. So if there are any kind of acknowledgement failure, or if there are any kind of packet failure will be there, in that case our foreign agent will deliver that packet again, because it is having that data. So transparency. To maintain transparency, the communication happens only between the corresponding node and the mobile host. The foreign agent doesn't send acknowledgement to the corresponding host as in ITCP. I told you there is direct communication, there is no separation. Foreign agent will not going to send any kind of acknowledgement. The acknowledgement is sent by the mobile host itself. The acknowledgement keeps on moving. When the data flows for mobile host corresponding node, the foreign agent snoops and checks the sequence of acknowledgement number. If gap is found, foreign agent send the signals to retransmit. It is going to check the sequence number of the acknowledgement. If there is some changes or some loss in or some gap in acknowledgement number, it will check and retransmit. So what are the advantages? The original TCP semantic end-to-end connection is preserved, right? What we were doing with the wired network, sender to receiver, right? So end-to-end connection that is going to store here, that is going to maintain here in this looping TCP. The corresponding node need not be changed, as all the new enhancements are made in the foreign agent. During handover from one cell to another, there is no need to transfer the previous incoming data. In ITCP, foreign agent or the base station has to send that data to new base station or new foreign agent. The same thing we are not going to repeat here, because there is no in between foreign agent is coming. There is no foreign agent is sending acknowledgement. Direct communication is there. End-to-end delivery is there. So there is no role of we can say transfer or handover. So if in case of handover, the next foreign agent did not use the same enhancement used here. So you can see here, whatever data I want to send here from the foreign agent to mobile station, the responsibility of this base station is just to store that data, snoop that data, right? So if there is any duplicate packet will occur, it will going to sense it. Or if there is any packet loss occur, it will again going to send it. See here, suppose 37 is lost, so it will going to send 37 again. Again next time, if 37 will see here 2 times it is going to come, so it is going to check. So now it is duplicated, it is already sent. So buffering of the packet sent to the mobile host, lost packet on the wireless link in both the direction will be retransmitted immediately by the mobile host or the foreign agent. So it is called local retransmission. The foreign agent therefore snoops the packet flow and recognizes the acknowledgement in both the direction. It also filters acknowledges changes of TCP only within the foreign agent. Local recovery from the wireless loss. These are the one advantage because we have snooped the packet, so we can easily recover it. We are having duplicate data. Fast retransmission not triggered at the sender despite out of order link clear delivery. High throughput can be achieved. End-to-end semantics can be retained. Soft state at base station. Loss of the soft state affect the performance but not the correctness. Everything is having a disadvantage too. So what is the disadvantage of this snooping TCP? If any encryption is applied at both the side, the snooping and buffering process would be a waste of time as no data can be ready by the foreign agent. So whenever you are applying any kind of encryption at the both the end, but here what we are doing, we are storing our data at the foreign agent, right? So that is going to take lots of time. It is a wasting of time. It does not fully isolated wireless link error from the fixed network. The problem like congestion and interference may causes a delay in retransmission because it is not fully, we can say, isolated. So the error from one network will going to propagate to the other network, right? So if there is some problem in fixed network, like we can say congestion or some other problem, so that is going to occur at the wireless end also. So it causes the delay in retransmission. The mobile host needs to be modified to handle the acknowledgement signal, or we can say no acknowledgement signals for the reverse traffic from the mobile host to a sender. Link layer and base station need to be TCP aware. Snooping TCP does not isolate the wireless link as good as we can say ITCP. Not useful if ITCP TCP header are encrypted. Snooping might be tough if the packet are encrypted. Generally, what we are doing, we are applying encryption. Encryption is for the security purpose, right? So if you are taking the data, buffering the data, making its copy, and it is encrypted, then it is not, we can say, that much feasible to store someone's data which is already secured and which is already encrypted. So that kind of snooping will be tough for our network. So this is the disadvantage of snooping TCP. Now I'm going to end the lecture. You please write down your attendance in chat box.